Cool. So you still have any other people just kind of walk in? Well, last time we were here, what, a couple months ago, Daniel?
Yeah.
The people were just like packed outside.
That's why I was saying I was kind of glad that we have a small group today.
Yeah, it's after the holiday, so not too much about that. So excellent. Okay, so yeah, Daniel was earlier showing about the statistics of the economy in Santa Clara County, and hello. That's all right. You're fired. Don't worry about it. So for that, you get to sit right here, Don. Okay? I'll put you on the spot. And we're going through some. He was talking about some stuff that was actually how it's affecting the market, and I hope I brought that information with me. Yeah, here it is. There's a company called Home Tracker, myhometracker.com, and there's a gentleman another realtor that always gives out these newsletters on a monthly, weekly basis, was saying that even though sales are actually up in some areas, that the foreclosure rates are amazingly going up as well. It says that helping homeowners to avoid foreclosure. It says according to HomeSmartReports.com, nationwide risk for national is down 10.2%. Just starting out. And I recall about, I think it was March of this year. Sorry to put this thing in the format here. It was also talking about from the San Francisco Chronicle. This thing was dated March 20th of this year. It says the foreclosure rates from 2004 to 06, more than 2.2 trillion adjusted loans were sued by people buying and refinancing their homes. Trillion. I mean, it makes billion look like nothing. And it says more than 1 million homeowners may default on their home loans during the next 7 years, just in California. And it says they expect that foreclosure can translate to a loss in the next 7 years, a $112 billion loss. $112 billion, that's amazing. So go on their site where I can make a copy of this for you. So it's just showing that the information that's coming about, that everyone's in deep doo-doo. They're in trouble. And I'm getting so many calls just constantly every single week. What would a short sale do to my credit? What will a foreclosure do to my credit? Well, go destroy it. Bottom line. Now, it doesn't mean a short sale may or may not destroy the credit, but I know that on the downside of it is, let's say if you have a house worth $500,000 and you owe $500,000, and the realtor works with the bank to discount, let's say, to $450,000, they're going to get 1099 for that $50,000. So you're going to pay it back either way, either through the IRS paying taxes later, and people who get themselves into this hot water, either due to not their fault or their fault. The economy sucks, people are getting laid off. Does anyone remember the early 90s? Early 80s? Bad. I've been in the state for going on 26 years. I've seen the 80s was bad, 90s was bad, so hopefully it'll improve here. But anyone who has a client that's in a short sale situation, or knock on wood, happen to have equity in their property, good. If not, or they owe more than what it's worth, call me and I can talk to you offline about how that may or may not affect their credit. Foreclosure, they'll destroy the credit. If someone's on the brink of going into foreclosure, they may want to consult with a bankruptcy attorney. Bottom line, it's not going to save their credit, but it can rebound within a year or more. But that way, though, if they happen to go into a 13 bankruptcy, and I'll tell you about the difference in the bankruptcies in a minute. But for the most part, though, let them to consult with a legal counsel, such as a lawyer. Say, hey, listen, now I'm about to lose my home anyway. I've got 200 grand sitting in there. I don't want to lose that. So maybe talk with an attorney may be a good idea. Okay, especially if they know they're going to lose it anyway. So always do that. Now, does anyone know what happened Monday morning, October 17th, 2005? No? I know, Daniel, there's a repeat for you. The new bankruptcy laws changed.
You got me on mellow days.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. The new bankruptcy laws went into effect.
Like a new class.
Yeah, exactly. October 17th also happened to be our long had an earthquake anniversary. Yeah. So October 2005, the new bankruptcy laws had changed. You cannot file bankruptcy that easily anymore. So in result of that, there are several different kinds of bankruptcies. One's a 13, one's a 7, one's 11, one's a 12. Okay, and these two here are for consumers, corporate, agriculture. So you're going to see a lot more 13. Now, anyone know the difference between a 13 and a 7? Bankruptcy?
7 is not as bad as 13, correct?
Yeah, in some cases. A Chapter 7 bankruptcy means a complete wipeout. The person owes nothing except on taxes they have to repay, federal and state, child support, student loans, etc. 13 is a control. It's the highest forced debt consolidation type of program that you can have. Unlike a debt consolidation company, you go out there and you negotiate, they negotiate on your behalf to have a reduction in the amount that you owe, elimination of interest penalties and fees. The government, being a county, forces all the creditors into a bankruptcy. They have no choice, including taxes. So in 13, where this is a complete wipeout, 13 means that you make usually about 10 cents on the dollar payment, or 10% of what you owe, up to a period of 5 years. And after 60 months, the whole thing is discharged. Okay? People say, well, how long does the bankruptcy stay on? Once discharged, 10 years, 7 years after it's discharged. Now, I've seen people discharge it as early as 3 years, but so basically if someone were to ride out the full 5 years, they'll stay on for another 7 years. You're actually looking at a total of 12 years that this one can stay on for. But 7 is a complete wipeout. Okay? 11 is, remember when PG&E was in bankruptcy for 3 years, several years ago? That's a corporate reorganization. This is actually one of the same consumer business. 7 is for both consumer and business, and 12 is agriculture. So you're not going to see 12 unless you sell loans out in Modesto or Hollister or someplace. You might see that, but otherwise, though, it's a different core system that's involved. So realistically, you might see these 3, more realistically these 2. So kind of give you an idea of what happens is, now you're also going to see a lot of split potential filings of bankruptcy on people's reports, where it was never heard of before. Let's say you have $100,000 in debt, and let's say out of $100,000 in debt, let's say $60,000 was your fault. You're buying drinks on people and you're going on vacation living on your credit cards. And let's say the other $40,000 was due to you getting into a car accident that was not your fault. I was drunk one night, I hit you, you're paralyzed from chest down for a while living on those credit cards. You get in front of a bankruptcy judge, and the judge says, well, what's your name, sir? Fred says, well, Your Honor, here's proof of that this was not my fault, that was Robert's fault because he put me in the hospital. But this debt happened well before because I was being done with my money. So you may say, okay, you can, if you do qualify, you may be able to file 7 on this money, but maybe 13 on this money, or you may have to pay back 20 of that 60,000. So it's up to the judge and the lawyers what's the do's and don'ts of between these two right here. Okay, if you're a victim of Hurricane Katrina, you're a victim of an earthquake, that's not your fault. Up in Marin County, all those homes that were sliding, last couple of winters, that's not your fault. That's Mother Nature. So there's things that are out of your control. And if you had to be a victim of Mother Nature cause, then you might be exempt from this new laws for an extended period of time. Okay. Now, if you want to learn more about this stuff, about the new laws and how it may affect your clients, go to bankruptcyaction.com. It'll give you a lot of good information about that. Okay, bankruptcy. Dana, punch it up on the computer. Yeah.
Actually, that's also a link
Yeah.
on my website too, guys. So
Yeah.
if you don't
Dana, punch it
remember
up.
it,
So, under bankruptcyaction.com, last time I've been on here, there's a map of the United States. And in a nutshell, there's 2 primary things that person has to do in order to qualify for a bankruptcy. Number 1 is they have to go through 6 months of credit counseling. There it is. See? So, you have a picture of this map. Click on California, Daniel.
Sure.
Come on in. For that being late, you have to do dishes.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay.
So here under bankruptcyaction.com, they'll talk about the ins and outs, do's and don'ts of the new bankruptcy laws. And there's that guy, Robert Taylor. He's out, he looks like in Orange County. So the 2 primary reasons for under the new bankruptcy law is one person has to go through 6 months of credit counseling with an appointed nonprofit organization that they appoint that's on the site. Number 2, that also a person can only keep up to $125,000 equity in their primary residence. So let's say you have $300,000-$400,000 in debt. Well, they're going to make you, pull equity out or sell investment rental properties. I had a client that had an exotic car; he had to sell that, and milk any other equity that's in the primary residence.
So basically, we really only have San Francisco.
Yeah, it's statewide. But most of the contacts are in those general areas. But this is statewide. So even though it's a federal filing, it's down at the state level. Washington